Hey, what up everyone, this is Mondo All Day, back with another video. In this video I'll be showing you my build guide for Dr. Doom. I'll be showing you where I place my hero synergy points, power points, omegas, as well as showing you the uniques I use, the artifacts, and then at the very end I'll be showing you my rotation and how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial with Dr. Doom. He's fairly simple, he is pretty powerful as is, especially with summon, so if you're going to use him, build him as summon, he's definitely very powerful and very I would highly recommend him for use for summon, especially beginners. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I use, so let's go over with the artifacts. Now, these artifacts are blessed, so you don't have to have it blessed, but these are blessed artifacts. Again, you don't have to, but for me, I did. So artifacts I use is Blessed Mole Man Staff. I use this for the semi-allied damage duration, for the damage rating and attack speed. And obviously, you can see there it's blessing. Then I use Blessed Sherbus Neotome for the brutal damage rating, summon allied damage, critical damage rating, attack speed, and when you use signature, you summon 6 Mayhem Demons for 30 seconds. It's a 5-minute cooldown, and I'll let you know how to use this, utilize this as far as the summons correctly, especially for Cosmic Trial. And then Mr. Sinister Medallion for the summon allied damage and duration. Then I use Blessed Iron Legion Armor for the brutal damage, plus 6 intelligence, and for the health. And again, it's a blessed, as you can see. And then I use Blessed Armor Alternate Reality Chaos Portal for the summon allied damage and health, and for the actual health. And again, it's, as you can see there, it is blessed. Then for the uniques, I use all of his uniques except for 2 of them. I use Sinister's Bioengineered unique, because it gives you for the summon allied damage, health, and duration, and you get 17 power cost reduction to summon powers. It's very useful, and plus it gives you plus 3 intelligence. So you get this through Mr. Sinister. This is fairly easy to get. I've got quite a few, but if you don't, you can use other Dr. Doom's other unique, but this is very good for his unique for this build. Again, these are all his, and I use a different unique. I used Helm of Doom. I use this mainly for the intelligence, but also because it gives you critical hit rating, brutal strike rating, obviously for intelligence, and it gives you some energy and physical damage. And then for the ring, I use Bloodstone Demon Band for the range power damage, plus 1 energy because he is mental, and for the summon LI health and damage and defense rating. And then for the insignia, I used Insignia of Quake for the critical damage rating, and for the damage rating to range powers, and it's pretty good. It's pretty useful. Not the best insignia for his build, but it does the job. And then last but not least, for the pet, I have it to where I take 3% less damage from enemy area powers, 5% move speed, 2% base damage to mental damage, plus 2 to separate powers, and then plus 3 through intelligence. Again, very useful, especially intelligence. You want to get high intelligence, especially with summons. And then for the forge, I use the Beastmaster and mental damage rating, and then I gained I did a blessed where it gave me extra damage and health and critical hit rating. And then funny thing is the legendary, I use Neptune's Trident for the summon allied damage and health. This is legendary 80. Keep that in mind. Hence why I use less than 3,000 omegas, because I figured if I'm using legendary 80, item grade, it should definitely use less omegas. So hence why I use less than 3,000 omegas. And I'll show you where I placed them, but I use less than 3,000. Now, the funny thing is, I did not know that I have. This is the costume I used, and you can see here the costume that I have as far as the grades. I have it on defensive. So that's always there's a lot of health. I did not notice that until I actually was reviewing my build, and I noticed that I have a grade 1 through 4 health. Ideally, what you want to do for Cosmic Trial, this is my mistake, but you want to have it like this, which is critical damage rating. You see that? It's all critical damage. So ideally what you want to do is have critical damage and then use a core that gives you plus 1 intelligence and some kind of health regeneration per hit, because he is a bit weak. So it's very useful. But for this build, I'm going to be showing you what I use for me to play Cosmic Trial. I use this costume that gives me all this extra health, and it gave me plus 1 strength and energy. So yeah, So that was my mistake, but I figured I would just show you guys the correct way would be to use grades 1 through 4 that say critical damage rating, not health. But I did not know that, so there you go. So you can, this just proves to you that you can still manage to pass Cosmic Trial with having grade 1 through 4 health and using less than 3,000 omegas. So again, I will just show you that, be honest and upfront, and then lie to you guys and kind of avoid some things. So yeah, that is my uniques and artifacts. Okay, let's go right into the powers. Again, this is a very simple build. He's mainly all summon, so I used him all summon. Excuse me, sorry, I was drinking some water here. But let me show you my build. So I have 1 for Assured Destruction, and then nothing there. 24 Declaration of War. This is summon, and also for the passive. 1 for Latverian Blockade for the passive. 1 for Latverian Inferno for the passive, and then also Latverian War drums. I use 11 there. Nothing there. 1 here for Conjured Barrage. Obviously, you want to max this out. Worthless Critin for that. It's very powerful. Signature, of course, you max that out. Ingenious Defense, you want to max. Well, 15 here, but you want to max it out because I still have 3 power points, but I use 15 here for the passive. Obviously for the Will of Doom, max that out for the passive, and I have it towards Doom's army. And then beneath Doom's boot, 19 there. It's very powerful. And then I use Channel Torment, 20 there, max that out. And then Latverian Air Defense, range, max that out as well. So those are my power points. Now let's go into the megas. Again, less than 3,000, as you can see here. So 2,200? So not too bad. Let's go right into it. Neural Enhancement, nothing. Arcane Attunement, I did 3 for Zarathos for the extra mental damage to mental attacks. And Interstellar Exploration, nothing. Special Weapons, nothing. Oh, shit here. Special Weapons, 2 for Squad Assault Weaponry for the summon ally damage. And then 2 for Warpath for the fighting. Radioactive Oranges, nothing. Nanotechnology, 2 for Spintech for the damage to bosses. Human Augmentation, nothing. Psionics, 2 for Melt Phase for the brutal damage rating. And then I did 2 for Emergent Pauses for the summon ally health and damage. And then obviously you want to use Overmind's Power for that +6 intelligence. And then 1 for Shadow King's Position for the summon ally damage, critical hit, and brutal strike rating. Monologue adjustment, nothing, and that's it. And then Synergies, I use Dr. Doom for the signature power damage, Doctor Strange for the mental, Ghost Rider for the critical hit rating for mental powers, Human Torch for the area damage, Iron Man for the range and energy, but I might have to change that. Psylocke for the mental damage and physical damage. He does. Dr. Doom does use physical. Star-Lord for the critical hit rating to energy powers, but again, I might have to change that. Thor for the physical damage and energy. I might have to change that. And War Machine for the spirit and 1 fighting, and then Wolverine. And now I would definitely change some of this stuff. I would probably change. Let me see here. If I had the opportunity, which I would, but I would definitely change probably to Rocket Raccoon. So instead of using, I just had it to Iron Man, for instance, I will probably use either Ultron, which would probably be useful, or Rocket Raccoon, and change Star-Lord to either, again, Ultron or Rocket Raccoon. So those are the 2 I would change. I would definitely want to use Ultron for the summon ally damage and for the +1 intelligence, and the Rocket Raccoon for the summon ally damage and health. So keep that in mind. And also 2 of you, or you can change 1 for health on any hit, and then summon ally damage 5%. That's a very useful one too. So those are the ones I would change. So keep that in mind. I would change Iron Man and Star-Lord and put it on either Rocket Raccoon, Ultron, or Magic. It's really up to you. So again, that's that. So let's get right into it. Again, this is probably not the best build, especially with me not knowing that I'm using my costume that gives me extra health. But nonetheless, it just shows you that you can still pass Cosmic Trial with not having the best, and having maxed out Omegas, as well as not placing the right synergies and having the right custom cores and everything. So now my rotation. This is probably one of the easiest builds. So as you can see here, I have Pierce the Veil, Conjure Barrage, Sure Destruction, Channel Torment, Worthless Cretin, Beneath Doom's Boot, and then Laverian Air Defense. So usually I use these three a lot. I use Worthless, Beneath Dooms, and Laverian Air Defense. I use those a lot. This is like probably the main thing I used. So what I mean by that is this. Use this three, F, G, and H. And then I use Channel Torment. Once I level 1 Spirit, I switch to Assured. And then once I level, if I'm level both, then I used Conjure Barrage. Or sometimes I use Pierce the Veil. Once in a while. Depends how I feel. So we get my rotations F, G, H. Worthless, Beneath, Laverian. And then just use this, which is Channel Torment, and then once this runs out, use Assured. And that is my build. Now I will say this, on my team up is Agent Coulson. You don't have to, but that's what I used. Okay, so that's my rotation regarding Doom. Now for summons, again, it's fairly simple. I use Declaration of War and then Latvian War Drums a lot. So okay, but I don't use Lord of Latveria until I fight Madam Hydra and Red Skull. Because I do that because his summon, which is this artifact right here, if you read it closely, it says when you use your signature power, summon 6 Mayhem Demons for 30 seconds, 5-minute cooldown. Meaning as soon as you're playing, let's say you're playing right now, and you're doing damage or whatever, and then once you see Madam Hydra, try to defeat as many enemies as you can, and once you defeat as many enemies, maybe you have 1 or 2 Hulk Busters, then do Signature, which is Lord of Latveria. That way you can summon those 6 Mayhem Demons. That way by the time you're fighting with Red Skull, you can do Signature again, and then summon those 6. Because those 6 summoned Mayhem Demons are pretty powerful. So if you do that with your regular summons, it's very, very powerful. And then I have it here. I have the Will of Doom, invulnerability duration, buff effect for 1.5 seconds, and that's really it. So again, use these right here. Laverian War Drums, and let them do all the work for you. And all you're doing is basically acting like it's defense and extra damage. See? Now let me show you, and you can see, look, they're doing all this damage, and this is having my team up out and my summons. Look, I'm not even doing anything. Now just imagine I did some damage. Just like that. See, and that's really it. That's how I was able to pass Cosmic Trial with Dr. Doom. Again, keep in mind, this is not having the best placements of hero synergies, and not even using 3,000 Omegas, and not even having the right costume. So you can just imagine how much extra damage I would do if I had the right costume, which is this one, with the critical damage rating, and placing these hero synergies. Remove Star-Lord and Iron Man and put it on Ultron, and let's just see here. Magic is just gonna do so much damage, something like this. Look at that. Let's go do damage over here. Look at that. Look at all the damage it's doing. I'm not doing anything. They're kind of stuck right there, but that is it. You can. This is my build guide again for Dr. Doom. Again, he's fairly easy. If you have him built correctly, he can definitely do massive damage. Obviously, when I did Cosmic Trial, I did not know some of the things I had, that had to redo. I didn't review my build, but as you can see, that having the right build, or better build, I should say, you can definitely do damage. But even having a decent build with decent stuff and kind of knowing how to play with them, you can do a lot of damage with Doom. He's probably one of the easiest characters regarding summon. Just make sure that you place at least 1 point for some of these summons, because they do have a passive. So this one gives you a deflect rating passive. This is melee power pace, and then where's it at? And this gives you range power base damage, passive effective, and then restore 1% of your maximum magic hero per second. Again, passive. So just keep that in mind, because I didn't know that. So just keep that in mind. And that's really it. And also too, I would say, just kind of like a little tip, when you're doing a build, especially for summon, you want to emphasize all of intelligence, because intelligence gives you not only critical hit rating and critical damage rating, but it gives you extra damage to summoned allies. So you want to focus on all of it to intelligence. And in this case, I do have a lot of mental power, some physical. I definitely will put some in energy and strength, but mainly it's going to be intelligence with fighting, and then a little bit of energy and strength. Okay, and again, this is my build guide for Dr. Doom. Again, probably not the best build. As you can see here, I did mess up. I did not know that. I was going to do another video, me passing Cosmic Trial with the right placement of synergies, but I figured, you know what, I will just show you my build guide and what I did for that specific video that I uploaded, to show you guys that you can definitely pass Cosmic Trial with Doom without having the right costume, which is, again, would be this one with the critical damage rating. But my mistake, we all make mistakes. But yeah, again, that's how I pass Cosmic Trial with Dr. Doom. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. If you have any requests for certain characters, again, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Alrighty, thanks.